Welcome to our video demo for Project 4. We are gonna walk through some of the updates and improvements that we did on our project for our final submission. So I guess I already have a user. I guess I'll go ahead and create a one for demonstration purposes. So I'm gonna do and then I'm gonna create my profile. When we were doing the usability report, this stage that I'm showing right now was pretty intuitive, so we didn't really see any new updates that had to be done. The users didn't have an issue with creating their profile and selecting their tech stack. So then I'm gonna talk about the changes that I particularly make, and then Jordan will talk about his changes in a bit. So something that I saw when I was doing the experiment is that when the user would go, or they were having issues with the profile and how, like, the flow of updating your profile. So I guess the first issue was that we had our profile tab here with the other tabs, and we also had their username here, and users instinctively would click on their name here, but this wasn't a button before, and they didn't realize that they could access their profile through this tab that we used to have here. So to make it more intuitive, we removed that tab or that label here, and we connected it with the profile name instead. So now that the user was brought to the profile, another issue that they were having is when they were updating the tech stack, when they created, for example, new or added new languages, and they would click OK, and now it automatically saves, but before changes were not automatically saved, and the users didn't really infer that they had to click this save button to save the changes made on their tech stack. So whenever they made any updates and then they went to, for example, see their matches, they wouldn't see matches reflected to the new languages or frameworks that they chose. So to make the experience more intuitive, have a smoother flow, we made it so that whenever the user clicks the OK button, the changes are saved automatically. Additionally, so for example, I'm gonna log this repo. I'm gonna track this repo. So in my tracks, this tab was also previously named dashboard. Um, that also was not too intuitive when we asked the users to go check where they had their track repos. They didn't see that, they didn't think that dashboard was related to where the repos were tracked. So we updated the name to, again, make it more intuitive. And then lastly, on my end, when we were doing when we were testing the logging, there were two things that were pointed out. So one, the date was not being reflected on a log that they just made. So for example, if I click on the 21st, I'm just gonna do test, and I create a log. The date that was being used here was showing the as of the date of yesterday. So instead of the 21st, it was showing the 20th. And that was a bug that we had that we fixed on our end as well. So now when a new log is made, the correct date is reflected. And when we were asking the user to update or delete a log, on the delete side, when they were deleting a log, previously, if you hit this button, the log would be deleted. And that made users a little bit uneasy because they were like, what if I accidentally caused a delete? How could I get the log back? Or how would I get a confirmation to make sure that I want to delete this? So we implemented those changes, and we included this modal to kind of warn the user to and tell them, are you sure you want to delete this entry? So yeah.
And if we just stay on that page really quick, um, yeah, no worries. But the log repo page,
Oh.
one of the improvements that I worked on was users were having a lot of um, confusion regarding the file uploaded portion of this page. Users were expecting it to automatically either pull from their GitHub account or have a file upload section. We're not actually uploading files themselves. We're just keeping track of what files we modified. So we added a bit of clarity and a kind of subtitle there to let users know that it's file names or paths. Put them comma separated. It's text. No files are uploaded. We even put a little example text in there so that it's a little bit more clear. Um, if we go back to the login screen really quick, um, users were getting confused by the username page because it had GitHub username. Um, our website was kind of utilizing GitHub's theme, and so we just thought it kind of fun to have kind of the same GitHub username on here as you did on GitHub. Some people took that a little too literally and thought that they could log in with their GitHub username. So we removed that wording and then added at the bottom that these are separate accounts from GitHub and feel free to use any username that you like. Um, so we can go ahead and log back in. And then if we go to the home page right here, there were just a few little updates that we made, such as when you hover over, for instance, the little icons on the repo cards, such as the two on the right, the 177 and the 3.7K there, you can see that it just lets the user know that it's forked and the amount of open pull requests and open issues for the repo so they can get just a little bit more information. One of the major things we did on this page was um, kind of homologate and make sure that the home page cards and the matches page cards were much more closely aligned with each other and had the same kind of information on the same pages. And then we added a nice call to action right there at the top to direct users towards their matches page. A lot of users were going to the home page and not understanding that there was the masters page, which had repos that were more tailored towards the tech stack that they chose themselves. So if we go to the matches page, one of the changes we made here was that the matching score wasn't super clear to users. They weren't sure if a lower score or a higher score was better. So we did away with that and we added a percentage. It has a little visual bar under it. So these are all at 100%. If we go to the second page, we'll probably see some with less. But it's just a nice little visual indicator for the users, and it's much more clear than it was previously. Those are the main changes we made. There were some other small little changes, such as adding a glow kind of effect for when tabbing through the website with your keyboards for keyboard interaction, um, labels for accessibility, all that type of stuff. So those were the main visual updates that we incorporated, and a lot of the rest were more so like accessibility slash under the hood type of stuff.
I guess
And I think
something.
that's all. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
something
No,
worth
no, go
pointing out.
ahead.
Oh, thank you. Something worth pointing out is that most of the design choices that we made, we followed, as Jordan mentioned, we followed GitHub's. We wanted to make mimic GitHub's design, so that's why most of the design colors or design aspects like the colors, like the typography, is essentially what GitHub uses on their website. So that's how we build our own with those same color schemes, same fonts. So yeah, that's how we made our design choices. And I think that covers everything. Thank you.